In front of us we have the snap safe lock box. It comes with 2 keys. It does have a detachable cable, and this cable is to affix it to a seat to secure it up. And I actually use one of this, and the best part about it is if you can see right here, it is California Department of Justice approved, so it's DOJ approved. And if we look on the back, not only is it DOJ approved from the state of California, it's also TSA approved, which means this basically can be took anywhere in the United States of America in your vehicle, and it is in compliance. And this is the large one. You can get an extra large, you can get a medium, and I believe you can even get a small. This is actually a brand from Hornady. So we all know that Hornady is a good product, so we're going to set that aside. Not sponsored by SnapSafe. It's just a great product, and we like it. So what we have here is that we have the Walther PPQ Q5. I think I said that right. Let me see. Excuse me. I meant Q5. So we're going to go ahead and do a safety check on it, and we're going to go ahead and slide. And as you can see, there's nothing in the chamber and there's nothing in the mag. So this is verified that this is a safe firearm. Now, my first impressions of this firearm, even when I first seen it, and let's go ahead and drop the slide, and you can even look at this firearm. We'll open up we've got the XDS here. This is a 9mm. This is chambered in 9mm, and we have a 40 caliber right here. And we'll just put that like that. And we have a sticky holster. Now, these sticky holsters are they're not sponsored by Sticky Holsters, but as you know, I use one on my 380, my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380. But let's go ahead and show you that this one is safe. We have done a review, or this was in the review of the 380, this little 9mm. Let's go ahead and lock the slide back. As you can see, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag. So this is a safe firearm. We always want to assume it's loaded, even when we know it's unloaded. We still treat the muzzle, the end of the barrel portion, as if it is loaded. So I am pointing in a safe direction. A general rule with firearm: do not point this muzzle in at anyone or anything that you are willing to destroy, to shoot, because you could accidentally discharge this firearm, severely injure, or maybe even possibly kill someone. And so that's just a little safety note. We know that you know that. We're saying that just so we can say that as a general reminder. And but this sticky holster here, we're going to go ahead and drop the slide on this firearm and show you that these sticky holsters, now this will fit the XDS or the 40. This particular one we got for the 40, it's a little bit bigger. We could use one that's just a little smaller for this firearm, but this one would work. I may actually just wind up getting one just like this one for this, because I use it with 380. It's fast draw. You can use this, and if you draw it even in the hand, I'm not got no pressure whatsoever on it. As you can see, it can fall, no pressure whatsoever, just enough to draw it, and it draws, I mean, amazing. So as far as the size comparison, we're going to just I never like to touch the firearms together. I don't like to unnecessarily scratch them, so we're going to pick up the Q5. I said J5, I don't know what I said that for, but I meant Q5. I'm going to tell you, them ergonomics, also pointing the muzzle at a safe location. I don't know how to describe that, and the only way I know how to describe it would be as if they took clay and they squeezed it in their hand on the last 3 fingers and the thumb, and then they used that to actually mold this portion, and then they stapled it. That is how this firearm feels in your hand. I mean, beautiful. It's still, it's a large frame pistol, but yet it's lightweight. I did notice a little bit of slide wiggle, and I believe the reason why it's more felt on this particular firearm is because the slide's so long. I mean, we're talking about a 7-inch slide here, and but we're going to compare it to a 4-inch slide. And I like to use my thumb or my finger so it does not hit, but that is back cap to back cap. Of course, it's got a little bit more of a beaver tail on the XDS, but really it's because the cut and the beaver tail safety right here is a little bit. You got a deeper purchase on this Walther as far as the ergonomics. The slide height is almost the same, but you can see that 4-inch difference overall on the slide. Trigger guard to trigger guard, I don't really like to touch them close together. Put them like that right there. Keep the meat of my thumb in between them, and then let's put them this way. Compared, let me see, I don't know, hopefully y'all can see that. The slide tallness is almost the same. So this is the size comparison of footprint. Now I will say, this is a single stack firearm on this XDS. So let's put it here and we'll show you the magazine. This is as far as capacity, they're both 9mm, of course. And we got 2 different types of round. We've got a defense, self-defense round. This is a Federal premium round, and I don't know what this one particularly is. And this is a Federal premium, but this is more a target ammo versus self-defense. This is more just for your standard target practice. But you've got 7+1 capacity on the XDS, and along with that you have 2 magazines on the XDS. Now this is the holster that we use for the carry. It's an IWB Kydex. It fits very nice, and you just put it in your pocket or clip it, and I've even used it on the outside of the holster, believe it or not. But you can put it on the inside, you can put it in your pocket. It's just a very good holster. But I am going to also get a sticky holster for this particular firearm, even though the Kydex, the Kydex works great. Here's the group, and here's the original chart when they sighted it in and when it was inspected. So as you can see, it's got the distance, it's got the inspector, it's got the serial number, and that's the group right here, which was at 10 yards. So that's a pretty nice grouping. That's the certification on that XDS. And so we're going to close that one up and get that out of the way. So that did come with the range kit. I don't have all the accessories in the box right now, but that's the XDS. So next up, we're going to have, now as far as capacity, the 40 is closer in capacity if you're looking at it capacity wise. But as far as magazine size, the 40, of course, is not a true double stack. And the reason why is because your 9mm round compared to your 40 round. Let's see if I got a loose round. I think I should have a loose round for the chamber. And so we'll put the mags right here. As you can see, much fatter round on the 40, which basically your 40 is a 10mm cartridge. So with your 40, we've got a 9 round and a 12 round with the XD 40 caliber, but the rounds are so fat, it's not a true stack. Now, if this was 9mm, you could see that you could dual stack it all the way up. just like this right here that you would see right here, you can see you got the witness holes. You can see how many rounds you have or have left. You drop that mag, you can check, put it in there, and so you always know how many rounds you have. Compared to this one, you do see it, but you see 9, 6, and 3. But you know, like I said, because of this, you can't fit 2 side by side. So technically, this is a stack and a half. We're going to have a cat to enter the shot, because we do cat rescues here at Hidden Creek Family Farms, and the home of Christian 2A. And but anyhow, so we would call this a double stack, but technically this is a stack and a half. So this is not a true double stack magazine, and the reason is because of the caliber. So you know, that's just a little technical specs. We didn't really have to state that, and a lot of you may know that, but just shows you the magazine capacity does differ. But if you see, they're the exact same width, double versus stack and a half. But so we're going to show the 40 here, and then those 40 is got a very stiff slide spring. The slide spring on this is very, very, very stiff. So on this particular firearm, on this 40, is the XD40 series. This is another one of my wife's carry firearms, and so she has the 9 and the 40, and this is pretty much her go-to. They're both subcompact, and there's not much difference actually, and it's about the Walther, but just to show you, let me drop the slide. I didn't show you, but there was nothing in the changer and no magazine, so that is a safe firearm. But just to show you the comparison of the 40 and the 9mm, just want to show you here. They're virtually almost identical in the footprint. The difference is the size, the thickness of it, and you wouldn't believe it, but as far as the weight, it makes a huge, huge difference. Got virtually the same type of slides. The XDS, the grip is not quite as long, so you can see the 40's got a little bit deeper purchase or beaver tail. A little bit different on the grip safety, but virtually the same. And then you got a little bit more ergonomic feel on the XDS. And not only that, you have a fiber on the front post versus a standard white dot. Uses the same sights. I could change the sights out. These are actually serrated on not only the back plate, but on the actual back post as well. Where this one, they're just flat metal. They're both metal sights, but really, I mean, there ain't a whole the weight of it. You can definitely tell this is a heavier firearm, but virtually it's almost the same footprint with the XDS and that 40. And so let's put that away and let me show you the difference now. The width comparison to this firearm and the Walther is more similar, and you'll see that right here. And you'll see, if you can get the slide, you can see that it's more blocky on the spring feel and a whole lot more tapered on the Walther. But the size is virtually the same as far as the thickness. You got a little bit more of a bulge, which I actually like right here on the Walther compared to the more blocky. This has got more of a Glock, like a Glock 17 or a Glock 19 feel. Smaller firearm, of course. Maybe I should say Glock 43. This is more closer to a Glock 43 feel, a little bit more blockier. But as far as the size comparison, there you have. Now these are both sub or compact or subcompact. This in no way, shape, or form is a compact, but I believe that you can conceal this. Let's go ahead and put the spring fields away. Like I said, that was just for size comparisons and all that, just because I had them on hand. And so we get few little things with the Walther. we get a sight adjusting tool. We get 2 different Allen wrenches, and one of the Allen wrenches, and this also comes with the chamber flag right here. So if you wanted to put the chamber flag in it like this, and then you wanted to drop the slide, you can see clearly that you know, this gun has no mag, of course, and it's got a chamber flag. So, but I tell you, I really like the ergonomics of this firearm. I like the trigger. There's just a lot that I like about this. I mean, I really like it. I like the fact that when you pick it up, it feels molded to your hand. This is something else that I like. I like the fact that they give you 3 15-round magazines in the box with the firearm. So that's 3 15-round capacities. I mean, just in these 3 mags, you can almost load an entire box of 50 in here. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, wow. You know, so that is, I mean, that is awesome of Walther. In my opinion, I really like that. I thought that was fascinating. And then, of course, you have a speed loader that simply works, and I'll show you how it works like this. And the followers, they're very good, solid feeling. They're not sloppy on the followers. I like the mags. The spring retention is, I like it. I mean, it's enough, but it ain't too much. If you wanted to load it by hand, you know, don't cut your hand. Don't cut your hand. And you know, even your thumb, you know, some mags, even on this 40, if you're not careful, when you're guiding them in and you done got around in there and you go to push it down and you go like that and you slide back and you have your thumb still pressed down, it will literally, I mean, it will literally almost slice into your finger on certain magazines. But, you know, very easy to load just by hand. But it gets better because you have a speed loader. And you simply push it down, you insert it, you start it, and push back. And look, no effort whatsoever. Push that follower down. I mean, just very, very nice. A nice. It's not very pleasurable to load mags, but I have to say that I really don't mind loading these mags. And the spring retention on these mags, look at that. It's just not. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just. I mean, just right. I mean, I am highly impressed with this Walther. Like, I don't know if I've stated this before, I've never owned a Walther. I've never even shot a Walther, so I want to take this time to thank the sponsor of this video, and he is a Christian to a member, and once again, Brother Jared Holder. He's the sponsor of today's episode. He purchased this firearm from Windy Hill gun shop over there in Elkin, North Carolina, and that's where this firearm was purchased at. So you can you can just Google search them, Windy Hill, and they can get you, if you're interested in having one like this. That's where you can find this particular firearm. And we are going to have a shooting portion, part 2. We'll upload that here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead, and we talked about the mags. We talked about some of the stuff that comes with it to change out, you know, your plate. But that one that I was going to tell you about, this little bit bigger one, it's actually, this is an optic cut right here. This is a plate that comes off, so it's already an optic cut slide. So you unbolt 2 little Allen screws, and this top plate along with the back side comes completely off, and you can put an optic, and you can choose to have that optic to co-witness with your front fiber. So you've got a red fiber optic up front. I've not got an opportunity to shoot this particular firearm just yet, but we're going to. But I believe because it's so large, you don't really notice it on a subcon pack. But I had a 45 ACP in 1911 not too awful long ago by Springfield, and I noticed on your larger firearms, you can feel just a little, not much. It's not like it's rally, but just a little bit of side to side on the slide. Really, there ain't no forward and backward, but just the tiniest bit. And I really feel it's because the frame stops here on the polymer. I really feel that's where it's coming from, where the metal slide is so long. But not an issue. Great feel. I just noticed that when I was racking it back, it had just a little, but not much. But look how easy it's got. Not only is it ported, it's also serrated right here. So the ports is actually in the serration, so they line up perfect. Look how, I mean, positive. It's not hard at all. It's not hard to work this gun for press checks. You can just simply press check, let it go. Nothing rides on your hand, snags your hand, would cut you, or you could go down just as easy. So I like these serrations, very positive serrations. I wouldn't suggest where it's got the optic to try to rack it. And if we can see that the firearm is clear. I did notice like some firearms, the guide rod comes out a little bit further, so far as to keep it from coming out of battery. Now this particular firearm is a match firearm. Let me state that first and foremost. But to illustrate this, I'm gonna use the sticky holster. And let's close this down. It's hanging. Oh, it's just the gun lock. But if I had to use this firearm like this, it will come out of battery. And that's got a lot to do. I'm getting ready to take it down to show you. That's got a lot to do with the internals. And I will show you. Like I said, this is not an EDC firearm by no means. You could conceal this, I believe. I mean, that's a big firearm. You'd have to have a fairly big holster, but I'm sure Sticky probably makes one. But so we done racked it. I showed it safe. So let's go ahead and pull the trigger. You do have to pull the trigger to take this one down. Point in a safe direction. Alright, and I'm gonna let me show you the trigger reset. So I should have did that first. Okay, so I've done pulled the trigger. Let me see if this will work. So right there is the reset. Okay, so let's go ahead and re-rack it. And I want to show you, it has no external safeties. It does have 2 internal and 1, just as you spring it, it's got the fan blade or the trigger bar safety. And so if you try to actuate this from the side, something like coming out of the pocket or a holster, it's not going to fire this firearm unless it's all the way on that fan blade, and then it would. We're going to have a kitty to come back into the screen. We're going to put her down to the side, and let's look at this trigger pull. And it has right there just a little bit of take up, and it's a defined wall. Right there is the wall, so you can definitely feel the wall. You can pull back to that and find it every time. Did you see that? So as soon as you get to that wall, see that wall? It snaps. I mean, I'm lightly pressed. This probably got a 3.5, 4 pound trigger. Now look here. So let's show you the reset. So I mean, just barely. And now I have a cat on my shoulder because, well, these little orphan kitties and these little kitties, they're quite friendly. So we've done pulled the trigger, as you can see. And so now what we're going to do is slightly pull back on it, just a little bit, and we're going to use the takedown pins. So I used it like that, and we're going to push forward. And but you do have to pull the trigger, and then it just slides right off. And so what we're looking at now is the inside of the pistol. Like I showed you, or told you I would, I was going to show you why I believe there's a little bit of a just a little bit. I wouldn't call it a jiggle. I'd call it a motion on the back end of the slide. And I believe what it is if you look at these rails, see how it's got it here and here. The frame ends right there, the contact of the frame. So you've got a good inch sticking out past the guide rod. So I believe that's where the actual slide is longer than the frame. This is a full-size frame, 1911 size frame. And with that slide, it's a whole lot larger than the 1911. So, but this is your, it is a captive recoil spring. And this is a polymer. It is a polymer spring as I'm looking at it here. And it's a flat spring type, if you can see. And it is polymer on this Walther. And right here is your barrel. And the way this is made, you got to pull up, get it past the little notch right here of the barrel lock up, and then you can pull it out. So to insert it, you also got to go past that. And you can see if you try to pull straight up, like you would on a lock, it just locks up. It won't pull straight up. You have to actually push forward and then pull. So it's not hard. You just gotta pull upward just a little bit, push forward, and then slide straight out for this barrel. Now it does not have the barrel lugs. It is not solid. It does have it to where it sits in here and locks up right here. And that's how it sits in the frame. It locks up right here with the takedown levers. So it just locks up just like that. As you can see, the feed ramp right here is highly polished. And this is a chrome lined barrel. This is the full 5-inch barrel, which is known as a G5. And so very, very nice. I like the fact that you can take off the plate here to put your optic. So this would make a great, you see, Q5 Match Walther insignias here, and there's the serration. Very positive. Makes press, and this notch also makes it a great, look at there, just a great place to press check it. When it's in there, you just simply press check it. Looking on the inside, I like the way they have implemented the trigger bar. If you can see that spring working. Very smooth. I'm talking about a very smooth action, very smooth trigger. I'm really impressed with this firearm. At its price point, what you get, you're getting a lot of money. You're getting that upgraded trigger. You're getting a match grade quality trigger out of the box. You get ambidextrous slide releases, and you also get ambidextrous magazine releases, which is right here. You get a little bit of a unique feature. And I really like the way this firearm is took down with the takedown levers right here. You just pull them down, come back just a little bit, you hold the position, and you can either do it with your thumb or you can do it like this, however is best for you. Slide them both down, slide it forward. Now I will say that even though this is polymer, this angle right here is a little sharp. So if you went to go push too much, you may slice into your thumb over that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Right quick. You see how that's cut out? As you go to push forward, that's something to watch as you're disassembling this and putting this back together. So let's go ahead and put it back together. The next portion is going to be the firing of this firearm. So when you go put the barrel in, if you try to drop it straight down, get the lug, you'll see that it won't. You got to get it past the little lug. I like to come all the way up here. Now when you're dropping it back in, as long as you get it right there, get it past the front lug, it'll fall right on in and then slide in place. You see how that oscillates and actuates? But you've got two little pieces right here that it's very easy if you just get them past it and let it drop in, you know, all in one motion. Because if you don't, you can get it kind of stuck. So the barrel to slide fit is excellent. There's not hardly much twist at all. And when that locks up, that's not going anywhere, even in the frame, with no tension, as you can see. Very solid lockup. I mean, I'm highly impressed at the manufacturer quality. You put the guide rod back in, make sure that the blue side is facing the trigger, and the reason why is it locks up, it goes in there, and it sits right before here. And you need that flange. If you don't have that flange, it could bypass, and it would not function properly. But it hooks on this front lug right here, right beside where it says Q5. So you just guide the guide rod in, and it only goes in, I mean, a fraction. So we want to make sure it's in the right way. And then you want to kind of grip you want to make sure the barrel's down, and use your thumb and hold the barrel down and push forward until you get that seated. And you really want to make sure you got that notch good, because if not, it will fly off and it will not function. The only thing that's holding that in place is the recoil spring, and that is very, very solid. Very, very solid. So I'm highly impressed. So let's put the frame and the slide together. There is literally no resistance coming on. Now you do have to be mindful of the trigger bar when you're pushing it, because you do have a trigger bar right here, and as you can see, it's part of the trigger. So you want to make sure your trigger's all the way forward, and you can't start it here. You have to start it on the actual rails right here. Got to make sure it's lined up. But there's no resistance. I mean, it slides so smooth. When you get right here, there's a little cutout. If you have it wobbled, it will not easily, see, it will, right there, it will not go. So you don't want to force it, because the rails is not straight. So you want to make sure they're straight, follow it all the way through, and rack it and check for functionality. So it comes together really, really nice. Really, really nice overall. Very nice firearm. The mag, empty mag, no effort at all. And the mag release is what? Check this out. I mean, drops out fine. Locks up great with the slide closed. Does even better with the slide open. No resistance whatsoever. One finger. You can actually feel it in. If you see that right there, you can see that it's not all the way. You can actually see it actuate the lever. And so it locks the slide back when you insert the magazine, and works perfect. Very, very, very nice. I'm highly impressed with this firearm. So the next portion of this video is going to be the shooting portion of this firearm. We're going to take it down, and we're going to put some rounds through it down at the range, and we're going to let you know what we think. I forgot to mention earlier, not only is it great ergonomically, but it has got a full rail. It is 1.25 inches long, and it has 3 cuts right here. So you virtually could put any type of tack light that your heart desires. That is just so smooth. I mean, I can't say enough about this this firearm. I just know from the way it's holding in the hand, I know this firearm is going to shoot great. I just know it. I know this firearm is going to shoot great, and I can't wait to shoot it. I'm excited. So let's put it in the case, and the next time you see this one, it will be at the range, and we will be shooting this 9mm. And like I said, once again, you need a good carry holster. This can be an IWB, a pocket, literally through your belt and your pants. Say it ain't got no clips. You do not need a clip with this. This is so sticky. Well, let me just show you the point in case here. No magazine. Firearm is clear. Point in case, you slide the 9 in here. No retention whatsoever. I'm going to put my finger here. No retention whatsoever needed. Now this is in here. That mag, that is not going to come out. This is how easy, and this is how sticky. You're not even going to hardly slide that. One finger retention. No resistance. So y'all really need a sticky holster. If you're an EDC, pick you up inexpensive, 20, 30. The highest one I've ever seen from this company was like $49.99. I'm not saying that they don't have any ones that's higher, but great holsters. Stop by and get you a snap safe. It's made by Hornady, the same manufacturer we trust for high grade ammunition, and that right there could actually mean whether you're somebody steals your firearm. If you got it in this safe and you can prove you had it in this safe, the liability wouldn't be on your end. So we've got Mrs. Zozo here wanting to enter in the shot for the second time because she's just curious. And say hey to the camera, Zoe. She's one of the kittens that we took in. Well, her mother is, I should say. And she's a very sweet kitten. So anyway, she likes to be YouTube famous. So I thank you for tuning in. And now be sure to tune into the next portion. And it's going to be the shooting portion of the review of the Walther PPQ Q5 Match. Thank you. And remember, it's not where you're aiming. It is where you're going. So if you're aiming in life is a lot like aiming a pistol. If you're aiming at and you're looking and you've only got focused on one target, whether that be finances or whatever, that's all you're gonna see, and that's all you're aiming for. But there's a whole lot more beyond the target than just what you're shooting at. You've got to be aware of the whole picture. And the reason why I'm making this analogy is no matter where we're at in life, financially, what our last name may be, whatever our status or social status may be, the most important question and the most important thing that you need to be aiming on is when it comes right down to it, when we take our last breath, whether we know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior or not. And so it's not what you're shooting, it's where you're going. And as always, be safe and God bless. All right, so we're down here at the range, and I do not have a holster for this particular firearm where it's so big. So I do have it just in my cargo pants. It is not chambered, but we're going to once again, this is Match. It is the Q5, and I can shoot at way longer distance, but for this purposes, we're going to be around, this is about 7 to 8 yards. So you can look down here at the target here, and about 7 to 8 yards. I could go on back to 10, but I believe we're at about 18 feet from the sign. So once again, we would like to ask you to like this video, share it. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And we've got our ears on, and we're going to use some eye protection. I don't always wear them, but if I remember, I try to grab a pair, just a standard pair of clear. When it's hot like this, I may have to, if they fog up, I may have to not use them, but it is a good idea to always use the right proper safety equipment. So it is a little hot, so if I start steaming up, which I may have to remove the glasses. So right now, the firearm got 15 rounds loaded into the magazine. This is going to be the first time I've ever fired this firearm, and I'm just going to see what we can do, see about the sights, This firearm is brand new out of the box. It's never been formally sighted in. And so right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to chamber around, and we're going to make it hot. And then once we do that, we're going to come from a low ready, we're going to push out, and then we're going to proceed to fire. So we're going to make sure everything's clear, and everybody's got their, and my glasses starting to fog, so I may have to take them off. But we're going to try a couple with it, and if not, because I'm sweating pretty bad. So we're going to go ahead and chamber the first round. The firearm is now hot, and so we're going to always make sure that we keep it in a safe location. I am going to shoot it right-handed, dominant hand with the support hand, and then I'm going to take a couple shots one-handed, and I may take a few with my what they call lazy or non-prominent hand. So we're going to get in position. We're going to come up in a choir. We're going to push out. And right here is going to be the first shots I've ever took. Right now my glasses are fogging up, so I don't know what to do. And yes, I'm going to have to take them off because I could not see. It's just too hot to use that type of. So the firearm's still hot. We don't want to have our finger on the trigger. First initial shot, I like the way the firearm felt. But like I said, I do have to try to sight this firearm in to see if we can get it on paper. So I'm going to press in, and I'm going to take another shot right here. Right, a little low, reset. Get a little closer. I'm going to take it off, finger off the trigger. That's 5 shots, so we've got 10. And I'm going to point this down in a safe location, finger off the trigger. Now that was with support hand. I'm going to try this with one-handed only to see where we can get now that I know where the sights to hold the sight. So we're going to now try this one-handed, just point and shoot. Okay, so one-handed, it's a little harder where the slide is a little bit larger. It's where it's a little bit heavier. One-handed, it's recoil's fine, great to manage, but it's a little harder to hold the firearm securely. So I don't know exactly how many. This is my weak hand. Once again, there's nothing here in the way of the muzzle, but we're going to practice good firearm control. I'm going to go dual hand, and then I'm going to go single hand until the firearm locks back. This is my non-prominent or my lazy hand. So we're going to take a couple shots, and we're going to see what we can do left-handed with my non-dominant eye. Now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it one-handed. My non-dominant eye. Non-dominant eye. And as you can see, I don't have as much recoil control with this. And it locked back. So that was 15 rounds. Now, feels very different to shoot with my left hand. I don't often shoot with it. And we're going to show that the firearm is clear and safe. Drop the slide. Now, I didn't get to show you that ammo, but that was the Federal. That was the Federal that I was shooting. And that was just range ammo. Stay right there. And I will show you what we've got loaded up here. Just Federal. And it's just the Federal premium ammo. And this is just Target right here. This is, I believe, 115 grain. And I'm going to use this ammo right here, this ammunition, to do a couple rapid fires just to tap it off. We're just gonna see and look at the recoil with the rapid fire. So we're not hot right now. We're getting ready to make it hot. We're just gonna shoot some rapid fire and just see what we got right here. Just in case we had to use this firearm to protect or defend ourselves in a home defense situation, just point and shoot. So we're gonna, where I don't have a holster, we're gonna simulate a draw and acquire the target and shoot. Gun is hot. So we shot 5 rounds, 6 rounds I believe it was. That was rapid fire, and as you can see, I went through some of the same holes. I was holding a little low. That was rapid fire, run smooth, so that was regular target. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this magazine, and we're gonna grab another magazine right here, and this is self-defense ammo. We'll bring the camera guy on in here a little bit. And our camera guy is gonna come on camera here in just a little bit. We're gonna show you my son KJ. And right here, we've got some more Federal Premium. We're not sponsored, but they do have some great ammunition. So this is the self-defense ammunition. And as you can see, this is hollow point 15 rounds. Thank you, Brother Jared, for allowing me to have this ammo. Today's video, once again, is sponsored by Brother Jared Holder. Once again, we'd love to invite you to subscribe and leave your comments below. But this firearm has been provided to us today for review on loan from Brother Holder with the Christian 2A. And so now we're going to run these, and we're going to see how it runs with this, which within 15 and the 5, 50, 60, around 70 rounds has been run through this particular firearm. It's brand new. So this is 70. If you add this up, this will make about 85 once we empty this magazine. So we're just going to see. This time I inserted the magazine, with no force at all. Really, really nice. We're going to see how this chambers. We're going to drop this slide and see how it chambers the round from using the actual slide release lever. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can place it. I'm going to try to get a little bit better with the sights and to see if I can't maybe go ahead and center this firearm on in there. So we're getting ready to go hot now. Firearm is hot. We're going to come up and acquire the target, and we're going to try to put 15 shots on target. Try to get a little bit and so not too bad. The recoil is great. I'm just trying to get used to really not used to the slide being that long, and that I'm just trying to get the feel of it. But that run great. The recoil is plenty manageable. Just trying to get it back down on target. Trying to get used to the feel of it and the extra weight of the slide sticking over the frame. But if you look down range, you can see it's pretty consistent. That was 15 rounds from the Q5 Match. It's doing great, but I'm not happy with it yet. I'm still trying to acquire these sights a little bit. It's not been sighted in, so let's take a few more shots with it. And so that's 3 mags. And let me see if I'm gonna come back just a little bit further. One of these days I'll get time to get this range cleaned up, get all this brushed down. So this is around 20 to 25 feet. I'd say this would be probably the furthest distance that you'll ever have to engage a target in a defense situation. Maybe a little bit further out, but somewhere around here would be about the most. So we're going to take a few more shots from a little distance and see where we're at right there. So we're going hot right now. And I honestly love, I'm going to keep this firearm pointed downrange, finger off the trigger. I honestly love, you don't even have to look at this slide release to operate it. You don't have to feel for it, it's just there and it just works. This is a great feeling, the ergonomics is great. So let's take another few shots right here with this Walther. This Walther is an awesome firearm. Trying to get the bullseye. I ain't got it yet, but I'm load the whole back of the sign out. I about got it. About got it. So that's that right there. Let's go look at the target here. Let's drop this bag, drop the slide, make sure the firearm is safe. Get a little bit better with it. It's not bad. Not bad. Could get a little bit better. As you can see, I was placing it, holding a little off, but overall, I'm very happy. Overall, I'm very happy. Loading the back side of the side slap out. Very happy with that. And so, we're actually going to review one more little firearm. It's a Phoenix Arms, and we'll be back with that video in here in just a second. So. Overall, the Q5, great firearm, very accurate. I'm not as accurate first time I ever shot it. If I had a little bit more time with this firearm, I feel that I could really get within probably a 4 to 5 inch grouping. Right now we're out about 6. We're out about, I'm gonna say, well, no, actually, probably around 5.5, a 5.5 inch as far as the grouping. So really, I mean, you can't really beat that. So the next portion is going to be my son KJ, and he's going to be reviewing the little and shooting the little Phoenix Arm 22 LR. And at your ready, when you're comfortable, take it off of safety, take aim, and fire. Okay. Good shot. Hold on. You're not, I don't think you're out. Don't take your finger off. Let me see it. It sounded like it was a light primer strike. Here. I'm gonna check this firearm by cocking the hammer. For some reason, the firearm did not hold back on the last round, but the firearm is safe. You can see, so we're gonna drop the mag. And as you can see, firearm is now cleared. We're gonna drop the hammer on it and put the hammer block back on. And so let's walk down range and let's look at this. I tell you what, KJ, that's so. In conclusion, from a 14-year-old perspective, what would you say the most important thing in life really truly is?
It is not what you're shooting, it's where you're going.
Okay. And do you have any advice for kids your age and when it as relating to firearm safety?
You always use it the right way and not for harm.
And what about with supervision? And
with supervision.
And a child should never what?
A child should never be unsupervised when
they never touch
when using a firearm.
When they know nothing about the firearm. And the firearm's a very serious thing to have. And this little firearm right here is made in the United States. It is a Phoenix Arms. And you can see it's made in Ontario. It is a 22 long rifle. And we have the firearm on safe. But I just would like to say that we don't allow KJ to use any firearms without supervision. And they are out of his reach and they're locked up. Parents, please, if you have firearms around your children, please make sure that you always lock them up, because you just don't ever know, especially if you're like in this situation. I'm teaching KJ how to use this firearm safely. but without the lack of supervision and guidance, he could make a mistake and hurt himself or someone else. So I think KJ would agree that without me or an adult that knows, or some type of firearm instructor, that he would not try to attempt to use a firearm or things of that nature. So as KJ's already said, it's not about where you're going. It's not about what you're shooting, it's where you're going. I get tongue-tied sometimes, so you just never mind me. But KJ, that was some good shooting, and what would you say to him? Would you say to go ahead and hit that what?
Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe and turn that little bell on beside the subscribe button.
And until next time, be safe, stay shooting, stay sharp, be vigilant, be sober and not drunken, because your adversary, the devil, is as a raging and roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. May God bless.